Good morning everyone. It's Sunday, the 4th of August, and we're at a little town called Surat in South Queensland. This town's special to me, everyone. A lot of you probably know I used to live here as a kid, and I've got some really fond memories of this town. Dad was the local sergeant here, the local policeman, and I did, I think, grade 4, 5, 6 and half of grade 7 in this little town. Fantastic memories. I'm going to take you around, show you it. Little town of Surat had about 600 people when I lived here. I think it's even less than that now. But I love coming back here and reminiscing. I'm at Fisherman's Park. I call it Fisherman Fechy Park. There he is there, guys. I'm sure that's Fisherman Fechy having a fish. We'll tell you some stories about Fechy a little bit later, and we're going to go and visit his grave site because he's buried in this hometown, or my hometown. Fechy was from Roma, but his wife Juanita, all her family from down around Surat and that, and me and Fechy had a lot in common. So anyway, we'll show you around this wonderful little town, eh? It's a beauty. Yeah, so there it is, the Fisherman Fechy on the big rock. There's another one on the other side of town when you come in, and this one's called Fisherman's Park. It's a free camp area. It's got a toilet and that over there. A lot of people like to camp here. Roz and I camped here on the way down to the Drifter event at Gloucester. Got in about 11 o'clock at night and we rolled the swag out over there and over the other side where we'll go soon. Actually, Roz and I camped with Fisherman Fechy and Tofty over there one night. We did a live feed from over there from memory. We'll go and show you the Balonne River. But yeah, Fisherman's Park it's called, just on the north side of Surat before you go over the bridge. Really popular place to free camp for a couple of nights. I'll go back in the car. We're going to drive around and show you around the town today. It's Sunday, this is nothing open. That's Fisherman Park over there. We're on the other side now, on the side of the highway. Little barbecue there. And I'll take you down and show you the mighty Balonne River, which runs through Roma and St. George, Surat. And as a kid, this bridge here on the north side of town, I used to come down here most afternoons after school and have a fish. Back in the 70s with a hand line, no rods back then. Used to come down with a hand line, and let me tell you, I never caught anything back then either. I was hopeless. And boat ramp here, and every now and then we'd go out in the river in a tinny, and someone who owned a tinny, and troll up and down the river with a spinner, we used to call it. Lure now they call them, like a flashing silver thing. But yeah, the Balonne River, it does flood badly at times, this river. And the good thing is you can go near the water's edge here and without fear of a crocodile grabbing you now that we're down south. But yeah, listen to the bird life and that. Got a young fella. G'day, mate. Catching anything, buddy? Got a carp, did ya? Get onto a yellow belly. Get a yellow belly. So yeah, you hear the bird life. Hear the bird life all the way up the river there. Brown, murky water, but she's always like that. Someone said to me yesterday, Victorian, does that river always look like that? I said, yeah, mate, it looked like that in the 70s too. Brown, that's all the inland rivers. A lot of them look like this. Unlike all the rivers up north where I live, you bloody can just about drink out of it. Yeah, so the Balonne River there. I used to come down here, it's not too far from the police house where I used to live, and I'll show you that soon. Come down here for a fish. Under the bridge normally, ride my BMX bike down and have a fish under this bridge. So last time we were here, Fechy brought us out to show us this, the Mrbuckaroonie humpy. Mrbuckaroonie is a large Indigenous family from Surat, and a lot of them still live around here too. And I went to school with some Mrbuckaaroonies and fucking... Righto, the Mrbuckaroonie humpy guys. Mrbuckaaroonies are a family from Surat. I used to go to school with some Mrbuckaaroonies. And Fechy's wife, Juanita, is related to the Mrbuckaaroonies. But this is a typical Aboriginal shelter that they used to live in. Have a look at it, they're called a humpy. Just made out of corrugated iron. that they found lying around in the bush, and a couple of trees that they probably cut down. And they used to live in this, and I remember when I lived in another town further out west, Cunnamulla, there were a lot of these humpies all along the riverbanks that the Aboriginal people lived in. Boy, haven't we come a long way. We've come a long way, we really have. That's what they used to live in. And I remember at Cunnamulla, it was like a shanty town that we'd see in South Africa. All these types of humpies all along the riverbank. It's just incredible. It's what they used to live in. 18 foot by 12. The whole family used to live in there. Go down, fish out of the river. Boy, oh boy, what a tough life. And we're not talking, you know, we're talking 1960, guys. So it's not that long ago. There's a story there about the Mundy family, and a lot of the names familiar to me. Judy Mundy. It's a funny story. Mum and Ivy Bridges, who was the postmaster's wife, went in a wool bale rolling competition down the main street. They had to roll a wool bale, and it was the women's comp. And Mum and Ivy went against Judy Mundy and another one of the Mundy girls, and Mum and Ivy actually won that. The Surat Sheep and Wool Show, it was called, and it was a wool bale rolling competition. And Judy Mundy was in that race against Mum. Boy, oh boy, talk about memory. Rossi Mundy there, great footballer, great cricketer. Boy, he could bowl a cricket ball, and still alive and still living in town. Jockey Mundy, City Mundy, all the Mundy boys. I remember them from when I was a kid. They were older than me, and I went to school with a Johnny Mundy, or Hookie as we used to call him. Well, there you go. All the familiar names. Just down from the Mundy Humpy, there's a track coming down to the river. I've got a not so pleasant story for you now, everyone. And I think it was in this very section of the river from memory. I'm going back to when I was about 11 years old. Old man, I won't mention his name, I do remember his name. He was murdered, as they found out. Someone robbed him down here. He was an old homeless man. Talking about 1975-ish now. Anyway, they found his body floating in this river, right just about where I'm standing now from memory. Dad went out in a little tinny. He was floating in the river and put a rope under his shirt and towed him back into shore. And me and Dad and a couple other men, we actually carried his body up and put it in the back of a ute. How primitive is that? That's how they did it. And it turned out he was murdered, and they found his killer, another homeless man apparently, just rolled him for some smokes or whatever, and threw his body, bashed him and threw his body in the river. And I still remember that. I was 11 years old, the first time I'd seen a dead body. Wasn't the last time either, just quietly, but yeah, I still remember, it's etched in my mind. Them rigor mortis had set in, and they put him in the back of the ute. Boy, oh boy, and took him up to the morgue at the hospital in the back of a ute. Yeah, so some of the things that stick in your mind from when you were a kid, some pleasant things and some not so pleasant. Look at the cockatoos down there, hundreds of them. I love this type of stuff, this outback, being by a riverbank in the outback, come down here for a fish, and I used to do this all the time. Ride my bike down here, have a fish, make a little fire. You know, you go and collect sticks and ball the billy up and all that type of stuff. Mum and Dad would even come down on the weekends, have a picnic down here, ball the billy up, have a fish. That's how you did it back in there, and someone's had a fire here by the looks of it. Come down, had a campfire. Good stuff. Listen to the cockatoos. Hey, another quick story for you while I'm here. Speaking of humpies, there was an old Aboriginal man, and his name was Vincey Kumbango, guys. Vincey used to live in a humpy like that. Who knows, Vincey might have lived in that one, for all I know. Vincey was just a simple old man. He'd go fishing, and every now and then I'd hear the dogs bark up at the police house, which you'll see soon. And Vincey would be at the front gate with a big yellow belly or a cod. And he'd go, "Hey, there's a Sarge there." I say, "Dad, Vincey's after you." So he'd come out, "Hey, Sarge, you want to buy a fish?" Dad would go, yeah, righto, Vincey. So Dad would go down and slip Vincey $5 or $10, whatever it was. It was good money back then for a big yellow belly or whatever. Vincey would go down the pub, one of the pubs, there was two at the time, buy a flagon, something to eat, back down the riverbank. About once a week, Vincey would turn up with a big fish and sell it to Dad, and Dad would give him some money so he could go and buy something to eat downtown and some flagon of wine. There you go, just some of the stuff that sticks in your head, eh? He'd be dead now, old Vincey. He was an old man back then, but yeah, he led a simple life down by the riverbank, down by the banks of the Balonne, eh? Excuse my shadow if you can see it, but there's the old Surat police station. Dad worked in there, was the sergeant for 3.5 years. And I used to ride we had a little Vespa motorbike. He used to ride the Vespa around there, whiz around there in the afternoon after school, little bloody Vespa motorbike, 3 on the tree. Yeah, so Dad worked in there for 3.5 years, and that has not changed since he was there. So here you go, this is where I used to live, everyone. That was the senior constable's house there, which is vacant now. Maxie Marm was the senior connie when I was a kid here. The police sergeant's wife's friend, and that's where I used to live, in that house there. That's the sergeant's residence, and that's the senior connie's residence. Vacant at the moment. If you're in the QPS and you want to come out and do some country policing, there's a senior connie's position available in Surat. Well, there you go. So yeah, 3.5 years I lived in that house, and the police station just out the back. To whiz around the yard on the little motorbike. Used to walk up towards the water tower there for footy training in the afternoons for the Surat Red Devils. So the post office there. The Bridges family. Kevin Ivy Bridges, and I was good friends with their kids. Stephen Bridges went on to become a really successful jockey. Martin Bridges, Richard Bridges, a couple others I can't remember now. Bailey Motors, now that was there when I was a kid. That has, I'm sure it was still called Bailey Motors back then, and this old building here, which is heritage listed, apparently, is the old picture theatre. This is where I started smoking cigarettes, guys. Alpine menthol. I used to sneak them over here in the picture theatre. Canvas seats, and a bloke called Dubbo Cherry used to own this, the old Surat picture theatre. Boy oh boy, isn't it run down now. It's a shame, but yeah, I used to walk out of the pictures, freezing cold winter's night, come out of the picture theatre and walk across to my house there. Jump into the electric blanket. That store was there when I was here. It wasn't a grocery store then, I forget what it was. It was a store of some sort. This is the main street, Burrows Street, and we'll give you a bit more of a look. Every town's famous for something, and Surat's famous for, this was the last town that the Cobb & Co came to, guys. The last Cobb & Co. The old horse and carriage, Cobb & Co changing station. There you go. That servo across the road was here when I was here. And this is the new Royal Hotel, because the old one burnt down when I was here. It was an big old Queenslander. And it burnt down, and the caravan park where we're at now used to be the bottom pub. Top pub, bottom pub, and they've taken the old top pub, the bottom pub down with old Queenslander as well. And there's a caravan park and cabins there now, and that's the new Royal Hotel. We're going there for a cannery tonight. It's where we're heading tomorrow, towards St. George. I'm out the front of my old school, everyone. Old bottle trees. I'll sneak in and hopefully won't get in trouble if someone's here. Yeah, my old school did grade 4, 5, 6 and half a grade 7 at this school, when grade 7 was primary school. Not a big school. I still follow this school on Facebook actually. And I remember they put a time capsule down in this garden here, and they were going to bring it up in 50 years time, which would have been in about 2 years time. And I asked last time I was in town about the time capsule, and apparently it all flooded and it wrecked it. But I was going to come out in another couple of years and do the 50th anniversary of the unveiling of the time capsule. I remember them burying the time capsule there. It had photos of all the kids from school and all that type of stuff. Wow. Flag there. And these drink machines, drink bubblers under here. They were there when I was here. I still remember that, drinking out of that. Who remembers that at school? Drinking out of the bloody... That's how you used to drink your water back then. Straight out of those things. That was there when I was here. There you go. Some fond memories of this little school. 2 sporting houses, Ogilvy and Crothers. And I was in Ogilvy. We were the yellow team, and I think Crothers was the blue team. I think they're 2 explorers, so yeah. We used to turn up to school early and play footy in the morning, or soccer or cricket, whatever it may have been. Not too much has changed since I was here in the 70s. Right everyone, I'm at my old football ground. I can't remember if I started playing footy in Cunnamulla, but I certainly did play football, junior football, here in Surat. I played a lot of games of rugby league on this thing. Back in those days, it was the Surat Red Devils, and they've combined with another little town now called Wallumbilla, and they're the Surat Wallumbilla Red Bulls. I've got my Red Bull shirt on that Fechy gave me, guys. Fechy sent me this. I thought it was pretty fitting that today I wear this polo shirt in memory of Fechy. This grandstand behind, I was just telling Roz, this is the grandstand, the Surat grandstand at the footy ground. And I remember when the A grade, we'd play on Saturday, and the A grade and reserve grade play on Sunday, and you play against Roma and St George and all those types of towns and that. And back in the days when you used to be able to bring your car in, nose your car in, and as your team ran out on the field, you beep your horn, and every time your team went in for a try, everyone would beep their horns and that. They were the good old days. I might have to stretch up, Roz, and have a run out on that oval again, just to reminisce. Here's the scoreboard over here. I think this was still here. This is the scoreboard. Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls. Back in the day, it was the Surat Red Devils. I'll put a picture up of the 1975 Surat Red Devils A-grade side. They lost the grand final to St George that year, and Dad had just great memories. Dad had come down in his police uniform, and he'd be doing the barbecue for the Red Devils and running the bar. 50 cents a beer. Dad, 50 cents. Dad would run the bar and do the barbecue, all fundraising for the footy team, and he'd be in his police uniform. That's what community policing was all about back then. Even the local coppers got involved, and it was a real great community thing. So yeah, no, scoreboard over here, swimming pool over here, where we obviously learnt to swim and all that when we were in primary school, and the old footy oval. Wow, talk about some memories. Righto, Ross, I'm going to run out.
Don't pull a hammy. Go, Rafa.
Righto, everyone. Take 3. I got a bit emotional on the first 2. I'll keep it together this time. I'm here with our old mate, Fisherman Fechy, Darren Robert Fechner. 16th of July, boy oh boy, so his birthday, 1967 to the 6th of July, 2023. Fechy's been gone just over a year. Just a love member of the community. Anyone who knew Fechy just has nothing but good words to say about him. So I'm here representing everyone, guys, paying my respects. Tofty's already been out to do the same. Going to leave a little Mrbuckaroonie patch. Hope the family don't mind, and a stubby cooler for him. I met up with Kobe last night, Darren's son. Kobe came down from Roma, and I said, Kobe, when the time comes to put a tombstone on, mate, a headstone, they've got to let the ground settle for a couple of years out here in Surat because the ground's so dry. I said, please reach out and let us know. The community wants to help, and we want to be part of it. I know anyone who's met Darren would want to do the same. Rafa, you right? So anyway, we're having a beer with him, having a beer with my old mate. And he wasn't just some bloke that, you know, like I just knew every now and then. He always rang me up, we always had a chat. First one to throw his hand up when I was running the camping event to volunteer. A better guy you would not meet. Anyway, this is something I had to do. I had to come down and do this. So, Fechy, from the whole community, mate, we all miss you. Put a Mrbuckaroonie cooler and a patch there for him. Let him know we still think of him every day. Cheers, mate. Well, we just come down the other end. They've got a nice little barbecue area and everything down here. We're going to have a walk down. This is where the weir is. I must admit, I don't remember the weir when I was a kid. If it was there, I don't remember it. What a great place to come and have a picnic or something down here. Throw a line in, have a fish. Big swirl down there too. So there is a fish in that river. I just saw a big swirl, probably yellow belly. You can drive down here, there's tracks everywhere, so you can obviously get your four-wheel drives down here. I'll see if I can get the drone in the air. Give you a look at the Balonne River from the air, eh? Put it into the clip hopefully if I can get it working. But there you go. What a beautiful spot. Down by the banks of the Balonne River. Rafa's come down to have a look. So the reason I don't remember this weir, it was reconstructed in 1993, so it was nothing like that when I was out here in the 70s. There was probably some sort of weir, but I don't remember it. But yeah, there you go. There's always been some sort of weir here, but not in that form. And this little bike path goes from this end of town, down here, this picnic area, down near the weir. And can you walk or jog, whatever you want to do, ride your bike all the way to the other end at the Anzac Park, which we'll go and have a look at soon, eh? So that's a caravan park and cabins up there. A lot of the cabins are for a lot of oil and gas mining out around this town as well. I think a lot of the miners and that fill the huts up, but yeah, they've done a nice little walkway all the way from the weir where we were before, all the way down along here, along the banks of the Balonne River down there. And this is walking in towards the main part of town. We're going to walk along here this afternoon about 5:30 and go up to the new Royal Hotel. We're going to have a cannery, a couple of beers and a cannery. Support the local town, spend a bit of money here. And tomorrow morning there's also a couple of coffee shops just up there. So there's a nice coffee shop that's part of the hotel. So we'll probably grab a coffee when we take off in the morning. Heading down to St. George, then across to Gundawindi, Inglewood and Texas for another 2 nights at Texas, and then we're up to the Legends Camp after that. But yeah, it's been good to come out to my little hometown. I love this little town. I reckon I'll live out here again. I don't think Roz would like to live out here, but I could. Look at that. That's as country as it gets. Go down on the banks of the river and take an esky down, a couple of beers, throw a line in and just sit there and bloody relax. That's what it's all about. Anyway, we'll get up here and show you a bit more of the town, eh? I was just taking Rafa for a walk. Could hear something in the grass. Now this little fella here, little echidna. And when I started coming near him, he just went straight for the tree, buried his face into the tree, and he's got his spikes facing out. So that's how they take up a defensive position against predators. Oh, he's digging a hole now. So nothing can get him, hopefully, through their spikes. Some of his spikes have been bloody not as spiky as they should be, but I wouldn't like to pick him up.
I think he can sense that.
Yeah, he's probably Rafa scaring him, I think. You don't go near him, Rafa.
Come here.
Anyway, there's an echidna, everyone. Not a porcupine. and he kidna. Righto, little fella, we'll leave you alone, eh? See ya. Just while I'm walking along, another quick story. Scotty Jennings, guys, Scotty and Tennille, who used to live in Brisbane. Scotty's moved out to St George and he's now working, he's the packing shed manager on a big onion, garlic, pumpkin. They've got 100 acres of grapes as well, table grapes, and they do cotton as well. So Scotty's in the packing shed there. Farm employs up to 150 people during picking season, the garlic and the onions. And Scotty said, and even Tennille said, the best thing we did, get out of Brisbane, move to St George and just start a whole new life. What do they call it? A tree change, not a sea change, a tree change. Getting out of the big smoke and coming out to these little country towns. There is work out here, guys, if you come out and you look for it. And I'll tell you what, you can have a good life, and the kids make their own fun. As I said, we didn't have the internet and everything back in my day. We used to come down here on our bikes and go fishing and go BMXing. Just walk around, play footy, play sport. Just make your own fun out in these little country towns. They've done a really good job with this walkway here. And I'll show you something special up here in a minute. I saw it this morning on our Rafa and me went for a walk about 6:30 this morning, nice and brisk, but it was a beautiful morning. And I saw something special that I want to show you. Hey, at the end of this clip, I'm going to put a picture of the Surat Red Devils up, 1975. In the middle, bloke with a black goat beard, bloke called Jockey Mundy. I ran into Jockey this morning. I said, hey Jockey, Paul Rogers, mate. I said, Dez's son. He said, I'll be buggered. Anyway, I got talking to Jockey. Still living here. Rossi's still out here. A lot of the Mundy family still living in Surat. And Jockey's looking a lot older now. He's well into his 70s. And I said, yeah, remember Dad? You know, Dad being the local sergeant, he used to come down and Dad would be doing the barbecue and running the bar and that in his uniform. He said, yeah, I remember your dad. He said he used to ferry all the grog down to from the pub to the footy ground in the police car. He said he's a real good community copper, that bloke. He used to look after the boys, the footy team. The bottle trees there, all around Roma and Surat. The bottle trees, they're a beautiful tree, aren't they? I saw someone selling little bottle trees in Roma. I thought, oh, I don't know if they grow up in far north Queensland, probably too wet for them. Surat Riverway Community Shelter. We're getting up to the good bit that I want to show you in a minute. This is up the end now. Surat Memorial Park. Little war memorial there with all the names of people from Surat that have lost their lives in the wars, probably World War I, World War II. Their name liveth forevermore. Fantastic. Yeah, so Surat Memorial Park. They've done a really good job with this too. Gazebo there, and just over here, toilet block. Nice little gardens and rocks. And on my old channel, I found a few of these pine trees. And what's so special about a pine tree, you're saying, Buck? Have a listen to this. Gallipoli comes to Surat. This pine tree propagated from a pine cone taken from Lone Pine, Gallipoli, was planted on the 25th of April, Anzac Day 2001. The planting of our own lone pine in Surat has become a living symbol of Gallipoli. And there's a few towns around Australia that have actually got a pine tree that is a descendant of the lone pine at Gallipoli. There you go, there's another one there in my old hometown of Surat. How good is that? To think that little pine tree there, its great-great-granddad was the lone pine at Gallipoli. Gets you thinking, doesn't it? It really does. Council chambers over there, looking up towards the main street. Another nice bottle tree there. Another special thing here, the Freedom Tree, the Surat Freedom Tree, is a community memorial dedicated to honour the gallant young men and women from Surat who enlisted in any theatre of war. Wow. And RSL supporter Gillian Ward. I know Gillian. I ran into Gillian a couple of visits back, and Gillian was behind this, the Surat Freedom Tree. All these men enlisted in one of the wars from here in Surat. Wow. World War II veterans there. I don't know how many of them were killed, but these guys all enlisted. World War II, all this side's all World War II. World War I down here. Wow. All Surat men. Warrant Officer Class 2, John Simpson, 2 RAR. Wow. Another Vietnam there. And on this side here, more World War II. Aircraftswoman Shirley Thrupp, RAAF, joined from Surat. Here we go, Sergeant Cameron Richard Butler, Explosive Ordnance Disposal Technician, Royal Australian Engineers, from Surat. Good on you, mate. Love to run into him one day and have a chat. And more from World War II over here. All men and women that enlisted from Surat. Well done, guys. Bloody proud of yous. Another funny story. I still remember this. Funny how you remember shit like this. I was a young kid and it had been raining. And this area here, where it's all dirt behind the firewood there, was all muddy. So I've come out of this shop here. I forget what kind of shop it was back then. There's a grumpy old bloke used to own it. So I was running through the mud there and doing big belly slides and sliding along on my guts in the mud. Right there, I thought they would have built something on there now, but right there, I was doing big belly slides on my guts in the mud, and the old fella from the shop here went, "Get out of the mud, you young fella." He bloody got up me because I was sliding around in the mud. That's what we did to keep entertained. Main Street, Burrows Street, Main Street. Bailey Motors was there. The old picture theatre which you saw this morning. Wow, that's the pharmacy there. That was obviously there. I don't remember that. The old pharmacy. I don't know if it's still a pharmacy. Anyway, the Lions Park there. Gee, they've done a good job with this town, with the park and the Memorial Park and the Riverway Walk, everything like that. These, and I'll tell you now, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, not a skerrick of litter anywhere. Not a skerrick of litter. This is an immaculate, tidy town. It really is. The locals obviously take a bit of pride. Just as I say that, I can see a plastic cup. Good one, Buck. Put the mocker on the town. Another bottle tree there with some flashing lights all around it. That's the Lions Park there. Doesn't that look nice? Let's keep going up. Hey, this shop called the Hitching Rail. Used to be a fish and chip shop. It still is. Looks like some Indians own it now. A bloke called Shep. C-H-E-P, Peter Shepley or something, I think his name. Everyone called him Shep. Anyway, me and my mates used to peel spuds for him, for his fish and chip shops. Remember the days you used to go in and go, "Hey, Mr. Shep, can I get a chocolate milk?" And he'd give you a bottle of milk, take the alfoil cap off the top, say, "Take a drink." You'd take a big skull out of the top, and he'd throw the chocolate topping in, put the foil lid back on and shake the bottle up, and that was your chocolate milk. They didn't come in cartons back then. So yeah, a bloke called Shep used to own that, the old fish and chip shop. Me and my mates used to sit out the back there peeling spuds for him. Cobb & Co Centre, Cobb & Co Museum. As I said, Surat, the location of the last ever Cobb & Co, guys. And that there is the new Royal Hotel where we're going for a countery tonight. Coffee shop there in the morning, we'll hit that up. That burnt down. The original one was a big old Queenslander pub, double-storey Queensland. She burnt down. And they built a temporary pub over here where this van park sign is. And then that's why it's called the new Royal Hotel Motel. Because the old original one burnt down. It was happened when we were here. And the bottom pub is now the caravan park. And that servo wasn't a Liberty back then, but yeah, that servo's always been there as well. We went there when we first arrived in Surat about 10 o'clock at night. Dad had come out and we called into the servo, it was still open, and I think Dad bought us some Chico rolls or something for dinner because we'd had a big long drive out from Brisbane. to start our new life out here in Surat. The Shire Hall up there, the schools up that road. Well, there you go, guys. That is the thriving metropolis of Surat, my old hometown. I'm proud of this little town, I really am. Look at it, you could throw a grenade down here. It's Sunday, mind you, it is Sunday. There you go. I love coming back here and reminiscing. Righto, time to get down. A couple more hours just sitting around relaxing, and we'll come down and have a couple of drinks and a countery at the pub. Hey, another thing I want to say about these country towns too. Last night we went to the pub for a countery. Crumb steak, veggies and mash, and the steak was about 1/2 inch thick, and it was crumbed up and it was tender. Bloody beautiful. I'm gonna go and have a coffee here. When you come to these small towns, don't just, a lot of people free camping and that, and try and put a bit of money into the economy, into the communities. These little towns struggle out here. Doesn't matter what part of Australia it is, the little country towns are struggling, everyone. And the big cities seem to just get bigger and bigger, and all the money gets pumped into there. Get out and support these little country towns. Whether you buy a countery at the pub, go and have a feed somewhere, support the local coffee shop, go to the local bakeries, all that type of stuff. Get out and do it, because we can't afford for these little towns to friggin' just keep going backwards. Some of the Victorians here said, God, this is a beautiful little town, so clean, and we've never been out here before, it's bloody lovely. And we found the same thing going through New South Wales and Tasmania, Victoria last year, even South Aussie, when we went into South Aussie. Some of the little towns are beautiful. Oh, Jesus, this is a good little town. So get out into the country and bloody support the country folk, eh? Spend a bit of money there too if you can. Just as I turn the camera on, a cockatoo goes, there's Buck down there. Quack, quack. Just every time. Anyway, that's a little look around my old hometown of Surat, guys. A town a lot of you have probably never heard of. As I said, holds some fond memories for me from my childhood. And the other thing I needed to do was get out and pay my respects to Fisherman Fechy, everyone. Roz and I did that yesterday. Sat by his grave, had a beer with him, and told him the community still thinks of him all the time. Geez, we miss him, eh? He was a bloody top bloke, he really was. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the look around my little hometown. I'll be back here again, probably won't film the next one. Young girl at the pub last night, she said, are you coming to the reunion next year? There's a school reunion on. I went, well, it just so happens that there was supposed to be, the time capsule was supposed to be getting lifted up next year, 50 years after they put it down. I was there the day they put it down, and they said, in 50 years time we're going to pull this time capsule up. And I thought, I'm going to go out for that if I'm still alive. Well, guess what? I friggin' am. I don't know how, but I am. And I don't know if that time capsule, I was told the time capsule got flooded and they pulled it up and it's not there anymore. But she said something about a 50-year reunion or something next year, so I've got to look into that. And if it is on, I'll be coming out to it. I know some of the guys I went to school with here in Surat are now dead. And I saw a couple of their graves out there with Fisherman Fechy. Billy Frid was another one, killed on his motorbike. Peter Schultz, killed in a car roll. He rolled his truck in the main street of town here. So there's a couple others that are gone too. So anyway, last look, if you can see down there, the Balonne River. What we're going to do now, Roz's just having a quick shower. We're going to jump in, drop the toilet key off. And there's a coffee shop at the pub, guys, so I'm going to get a coffee. We're going to head south to St. George, down to one of the best bakeries I've been to. Roz said, last time we went through St. George, Roz said, that is the best bacon and cheese and beef pie I have ever had from the St. George bakery. So we're going to go St. George, cut across to Gundawindi, show you the New South Wales border. I might go and hang some shit on the cockroaches, slip over the bridge, hang some shit on the cockies for cheating and beating us in the State of Origin this year. Show you Gun Sin, the old Gundawindi Grey, come third in the Melbourne Cup. The statue of Gun Sin. And then we're going to head to a little town called Texas, where my mum originates from. My grandparents are buried there. Going to go pay my respects to my grandparents as well. Mama and Poppy, we used to call them. And got a cousin living in Texas, Pat. Haven't seen her since Mama's funeral in 1989. So I'm going to catch up with a cousin as well. Anyway, the banks of the Balonne River in the morning. Absolutely. You got to get out to west. Get out. If you're in the cities, get out west. Doesn't matter if it's Victoria, New South Wales. Get out to some of these country towns and have a look at the little rivers and all that type of stuff. This is the real Australia out here, everyone. Not Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne and all those other shitholes. Get out to the country and have a look. Take care, be good to each other, and we'll catch you again from Texas, eh? See you later.